Welcome to another video about wine. Today, it's all about reds. I bought 3 of the cheapest Italian red wines that I could find at the grocery store. And today, I'm gonna explain how you can taste wine. And of course, I'm gonna pick a winner. So when learning how to taste wine, the process is actually really easy, and it doesn't matter if you have cheap wine or really expensive wine, the process is still gonna be the same. I have 3 of the cheapest grocery store Italian red wines that I could find, and it doesn't matter. We're gonna taste like the pros, and I'm gonna explain how you can do the same thing. But before we go any further, let me know in the comments if you found some really good grocery store wines. Let me know if you found some really good bargains. The contenders that we have here today. Number 1, and it was the automatic bid. It got the automatic bid because last week I did a video on the cheapest grocery store white wines, and the Torre, it won. The Torre was the winner, so the Torre gets the automatic bid here into the competition today. It is also the cheapest, coming in at €1.99 for the Torre in the juice box. And this is it right here. And when tasting wine, you're gonna start with looking at it. So we're just gonna look at it and we're gonna assess the color. It's pretty light. It looks like it's the lightest of the 3 that we have here today. Kind of pale, maybe I would call it like a pale purplish red color. So that's step number 1, is looking at it. Then you can move on to smelling it. So we give it a smell, and it smells like you would expect red wine to smell. It smells like red fruit, but not too fruity. It's almost more savory. After you've smelled it, then you can move on to the tasting. So let's give it a taste. On the taste, it's not bad. You do smell, and I said this in the white wine video, and if you didn't watch that, I'll link it up here. Be sure to watch the white wine video. The Torre, it kind of has a plasticky smell, and I think that's because it is in the juice box. It is in a plastic kind of coated container. And you smell that, but in the taste, the plastic doesn't really come through. The taste is all right, maybe kind of tomatoey. I was saying more savory. It's more savory kind of taste, not as fruity as you might expect. But it's not bad. The finish is pretty short. The taste doesn't really stay in your mouth, it kind of just disappears. And there are some tannins, and tannins, you feel it on your tongue, and it's grippy. It makes your tongue pucker up like that. So you're definitely getting that in the Torre. Moving on to contestant number 2. Contestant number 2 is the Porta Palo. This is contestant number 2. And going through our process here, looking at it, it looks a little darker than the first one. I'd say maybe it's more reddish, almost reddish brown. So maybe I'd call it a pale ruby red color. Still pretty clear. On the smell, more sour as compared to the first one. And then we move on to the taste. So this one is definitely more sour. And when you're tasting, all you have to do is really pick out a couple of things that you want to pick out. And so in this one, I'm getting cherry, so maybe sour cherry. We'll see what we say on the bottle here. The Porta Palo says a complex bouquet of dark cherries, okay, and ripe prunes. So that's what they said. And I am getting the cherries, and it's not as sour as it smells, so maybe I would say dark cherries. So kudos to them for having that on their label. That seems pretty spot on. That's not bad, the Porta, and I would say that it is better than the Torre. So we're gonna move on to our final contender here, which is the Paolini, the Conte di Matarocco, the Nero d'Avola. It's a very common grape here in Sicily. This one on the looks, it's the darkest of the three. I would maybe say it's a medium purple color. On the smell, it smells very sour. It smells kind of cheap. Now this one was the favorite going in. This is actually the most expensive at $2.95. The Porta was $2.79. So this one, I don't know, I like the way that it looks. It's the most expensive. This is the favorite going in, but it smells kind of cheap. And I realize that's not a very technical term there. What does cheap smell like? But to me, it smells cheap. It smells very sour, so we'll see what it tastes like. And that's our next step in the process. Again, maybe not quite as sour as it smells, but definitely tasting sour cherries, maybe pomegranates, cranberries. The tannins not quite as strong as the first one. There's something about the Torre that just really made you pucker up with those tannins. So on this last one here, it's definitely between these two in terms of our winner. These two are very similar. This one's different. I don't think it's gonna quite hold up to these two over here. This one, not as fruity as these guys. This one, like I said, more tomato-y, and you go back to it, you kind of go through it and then go back. This one smells way more savory and kind of like tomatoes, which is interesting. It's not bad, but it's just, I think these ones are a little bit better. Give the Porta one more taste. So I think the flavor is stronger in this one. There's just more flavor, but it's also more sour. This one's more muted in the way that it smells. It's not as strong in the flavor, but there's nothing wrong with it. So it's lacking a little flavor, but there's nothing wrong with it. This one's almost a little too sour, so I might have to dock it on that, and I might have to give the win to the Porta Paolo. Gonna say the win goes to the Porta Paolo. A little bit of an upset here. This was supposed to be the winner, but gonna give the win to the Porta Paolo. So that's it for this wine tasting video. I hope you learned a little bit of how to taste wine. The process is not hard. You can do it with cheap wine. You don't have to spend a bunch of money. And if you did enjoy this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and be sure to give me a like. But for now, cheers.